The Jewish-Roman wars were a series of epic clashes that pitted the might of the Roman Empire against the unwavering spirit of the Jewish people. These wars, spanning decades of the 1st and 2nd centuries CE, were about more than just land or power. They represented a fundamental clash of civilizations, a collision between two distinct ways of life. To understand the roots of this conflict, we must journey back to a time when the Roman Empire, at the height of its power, extended its reach across the Mediterranean, encompassing diverse cultures and religions. Judea, the ancient homeland of the Jewish people, found itself under the shadow of Roman dominion. For the Jewish people, with their deep-rooted religious beliefs and cultural identity, Roman rule presented a profound challenge. The Roman Empire, with its emphasis on emperor worship and its pantheon of gods, stood in stark contrast to the Jewish belief in one God. This fundamental difference in religious worldview laid the groundwork for the tensions that would eventually erupt into open conflict. The seeds of resentment were sown early on. The imposition of Roman law, often at odds with Jewish customs, caused friction and fueled a growing sense of injustice among the Jewish population. Roman taxation policies, seen as exploitative and unjust, further inflamed tensions. The stage was set for a confrontation that would have far-reaching consequences for both the Jewish people and the Roman Empire. Roman rule in Judea was a complex and often contradictory affair. While Rome generally tolerated local customs and religions within its vast empire, the monotheistic beliefs of the Jewish people presented a unique challenge to Roman authority. The Romans, accustomed to the worship of multiple deities, struggled to comprehend the Jewish refusal to acknowledge the divinity of the emperor. This refusal was seen as a direct affront to Roman power and a threat to the stability of the empire. Religious tensions were further exacerbated by the Roman presence in Jerusalem, the spiritual heart of the Jewish world. The stationing of Roman troops within the city, considered sacred by the Jews, was a constant source of humiliation and resentment. Moreover, the Romans often interfered in the appointment of the high priest, a position of paramount religious significance for the Jewish people. This interference was seen as a direct attack on their religious autonomy and further fueled the flames of resistance. Economic grievances also played a significant role in stoking the fires of rebellion. Roman taxation policies, often characterized by corruption and extortion, placed a heavy burden on the Jewish population. The collection of taxes was often entrusted to local officials who enriched themselves at the expense of the people, leading to widespread poverty and resentment. The economic hardship faced by the Jewish people under Roman rule created a fertile ground for discontent and rebellion. In 66 CE, after years of simmering resentment, the First Jewish-Roman War, also known as the Great Revolt, erupted with a sudden and shocking ferocity. The rebellion began in Caesarea Maritima, a coastal city with a mixed Jewish and Gentile population, where clashes between the two communities sparked a wider uprising. The flames of revolt quickly spread throughout Judea, fueled by a potent mix of religious zeal, nationalist fervor, and economic desperation. Jewish rebels, united in their determination to throw off the yoke of Roman rule, achieved early successes that stunned the Roman Empire. Roman garrisons were overwhelmed, and symbols of Roman authority were torn down with righteous anger. The rebels, led by charismatic figures like Simon Bar Giora and John of Gischala, fought with a desperate courage, fueled by the belief that they were fighting a holy war sanctioned by God. The Great Revolt was not a monolithic movement, but rather a complex tapestry of resistance encompassing a range of ideologies and tactics. While some advocated for open warfare against the Romans, others favored a more cautious approach, emphasizing diplomacy and negotiation. Despite their internal divisions, the Jewish rebels presented a formidable challenge to Roman power, inflicting heavy casualties and shaking the foundations of Roman rule in the region. The Roman Empire, initially caught off guard by the ferocity of the Jewish uprising, responded with overwhelming force. The Emperor Nero dispatched Vespasian, one of his most experienced generals, to crush the rebellion and restore order in Judea. Vespasian, a ruthless and efficient commander, embarked on a systematic campaign to subdue the rebellious province, laying waste to the countryside and crushing all resistance in his path. By 68 CE, the focus of the war had shifted to Jerusalem, the spiritual and political heart of Judea. The city, heavily fortified and defended by a determined garrison of Jewish fighters, became a symbol of Jewish resistance against Roman might. The Romans, under the command of Vespasian's son Titus, laid siege to the city, cutting off its supply lines and bombarding its walls with relentless fury. The siege of Jerusalem was a protracted and brutal affair, marked by incredible acts of both courage and cruelty. Inside the city, the Jewish defenders, facing starvation and disease, fought with the tenacity of desperation, determined to defend their holy city to the last man. Outside the city walls, the Roman legions, driven by a thirst for vengeance and plunder, tightened their grip, slowly squeezing the life out of the besieged city. In the summer of 70 CE, after a grueling 5-month siege, Roman forces finally breached the defenses of Jerusalem. What followed was an orgy of violence and destruction that left an indelible scar on the Jewish psyche. The Romans, enraged by the stubborn resistance they had encountered, showed little mercy to the inhabitants of the fallen city. The Second Temple, the most sacred site in Judaism, was utterly destroyed, its golden roof melted down, and its stones cast down. The destruction of the temple, a defining moment in Jewish history, marked the end of an era and ushered in a period of profound spiritual crisis for the Jewish people. The loss of their central place of worship left a gaping hole in the religious and cultural fabric of Jewish life. Thousands of Jews were slaughtered in the sack of Jerusalem, while countless others were sold into slavery. The city, once a vibrant center of Jewish life, lay in ruins, a smoldering testament to the brutal reality of Roman conquest. The defeat of the Great Revolt and the destruction of Jerusalem sent shockwaves throughout the Jewish world, marking a turning point in Jewish history. The crushing defeat of the Jewish revolt had profound and long-lasting consequences for the Jewish people. With their homeland in ruins and their central place of worship destroyed, many Jews were forced to flee Judea, scattering throughout the Roman Empire and beyond. This forced dispersal, known as the diaspora, had a profound impact on the development of Jewish identity and religious practice. Despite the trauma of defeat and the challenges of living in exile, the Jewish people demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability. They established new communities in distant lands, carrying with them their traditions, their faith, and their cultural heritage. Synagogues, which had emerged as local centers of Jewish life even before the destruction of the temple, became increasingly important as places of worship, study, and communal gathering. Rabbis emerged as the spiritual leaders of the Jewish people in the aftermath of the temple's destruction. They played a pivotal role in preserving and transmitting Jewish law and tradition, adapting ancient practices to the realities of life in exile. The rabbis' emphasis on study, prayer, and acts of loving kindness helped to sustain the Jewish people through centuries of dispersal and persecution. The Jewish-Roman wars left an indelible mark on Jewish identity, shaping the course of Jewish history for centuries to come. The destruction of the Second Temple, while a catastrophic event, paradoxically led to a period of remarkable religious and cultural creativity. Forced to adapt to life without a central sanctuary, the Jewish people developed new forms of religious expression and communal organization that sustained them through centuries of exile. The rabbis, who emerged as the spiritual leaders of the Jewish people in the aftermath of the temple's destruction, played a pivotal role in shaping Jewish identity. They compiled the Mishnah and the Talmud, vast collections of Jewish law and commentary that provided a framework for Jewish life in the diaspora. These texts, studied and debated by generations of Jews, became central to Jewish religious practice and identity. The experience of exile and persecution also fostered a strong sense of communal solidarity and mutual responsibility among the Jewish people. Scattered across the globe, Jews maintained a shared sense of identity and purpose, bound together by their faith, their history, and their collective memory of loss and resilience. The Jewish-Roman Wars, while a tragic chapter in Jewish history, ultimately served to strengthen Jewish identity and ensure the survival of the Jewish people. The Jewish-Roman wars, though distant in time, hold profound lessons for us today. They remind us of the dangers of religious intolerance, the enduring power of faith and resistance, and the importance of preserving cultural heritage in the face of adversity. As we grapple with contemporary challenges, from religious conflict to the displacement of peoples, the lessons of the past can offer guidance and inspiration. The wars stand as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the enduring legacy of violence. The destruction of Jerusalem, the massacre of its inhabitants, and the scattering of the Jewish people serve as a cautionary tale about the horrors of war and the importance of pursuing peace. The resilience and adaptability of the Jewish people in the face of adversity offer a powerful testament to the human spirit and its capacity for survival and renewal. The Jewish-Roman wars also highlight the importance of interfaith understanding and respect. The clash between the Roman Empire and the Jewish people was fueled in part by a lack of understanding and tolerance for different religious beliefs and practices. Today, as we live in an increasingly interconnected world, it is more important than ever to promote dialogue, understanding, and respect between different faith communities. The Jewish-Roman wars were a watershed moment in history, shaping the destinies of both the Jewish people and the Roman Empire. These wars, fueled by a complex interplay of religious, cultural, and political factors, left an enduring legacy that continues to resonate to this day. The destruction of the Second Temple, a defining moment in Jewish history, led to the dispersal of the Jewish people and the emergence of new forms of Jewish religious expression. The Jewish-Roman wars serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the importance of pursuing peace. They also highlight the enduring power of faith, resilience, and cultural identity in the face of adversity. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, the lessons of the past can offer valuable insights and guidance. By studying the Jewish-Roman wars, we gain a deeper understanding of the forces that have shaped our world and the enduring legacy of the past. We are reminded of the importance of tolerance, empathy, and the preservation of cultural heritage. The Jewish-Roman wars, though distant in time, continue to challenge and inspire us as we strive to build a more just and peaceful world.